Hi, everyone. We're going to talk about a balanced approach to literacy instruction. A balanced approach to literacy instruction is based on comprehensive view of literacy. In our text, Cunningham and Allington compare the balanced approach to literacy instruction to a multivitamin. The idea that the best of teacher and student-centered learning theories are brought together. We will go over the elements that are usually included in a balanced approach to literacy instruction. There's always a continuum between skill-based instruction, where you focus only on low-level skills, and meaning-based instruction, where you focus more on reading good books. Where you are on this continuum depends not on your philosophy, but where your students are at. Some students need more skill-based instruction, and some students need more of a meaning-based instruction. Most students are in between these two different poles. There is no standardized approach or method called a balanced reading instruction. A balanced literacy instruction or a balanced approach to literacy instruction looks a little bit different in each teacher's classroom. So let's take a look at what a balanced approach to literacy includes. It includes some of the following. A balanced reading instruction or a balanced literacy program includes 70 to 80% of actual reading of self-selected material. It includes 20 to 30% that is skill instruction. So 70 to 80% would be students selecting books that they enjoy and practicing reading. And that means that you must have a variety of good books for them to select from. There should be social interaction and conversation around good books. If you and I have read a good book, we want to talk about it. We all say, oh, I like that book. But as an intentional, explicit instructor, you will structure the conversation that your students will have around the books that they are reading. We don't tell students to talk about a book. Good conversation, good discussions are planned and purposeful. Authentic writing experiences are when students use writing to describe their ideas and their experiences. It includes responses to students' writing versus just correcting their writing, right? So you will model what that looks like in responding to somebody's writing. Students choose what they want to write about, and that's how writing comes alive and is magical. Teachers understand and know the 5 stages of the writing process. And this is addressed in our text in chapter 11. And during week 5, we will look into these different stages. In a balanced reading program, the intentional teacher knows that the brain uses 3 cueing systems to recognize words. So you want to create activities to develop all 3 cueing systems. So there's the meaning cues, which is semantic meaning. There's language structure cues, which is syntax, grammar, or word order. And there's phonics or visual cues, which is the graphophonic. If you are only teaching phonics as a cueing system, you would only be teaching students a third of the reading education. Word recognition, I recognize that word automatically, is different from word identification. Word identification strategies, oh, I see that word, I do not recognize it. It is not in my lexicon, which is the dictionary in my head. I must have some strategies so that I can learn that word. And there are 4 strategies for word identification: morphemic analysis, analogy or word parts, context or syntax, and then phonics. We will talk about these 4 strategies later, but you should be teaching all 4 of these strategies in a balanced literacy program. If you're only teaching phonics, then you're only saying sound the word out, right? You are giving students 1/4 of a reading education. Next is comprehension instruction. This isn't a comprehension worksheet, which really is a remembering worksheet. You are teaching study skill strategies. This is a textbook. This is how you read a textbook. Comprehension is often not taught. It is under instructed. And you want to be teaching and developing cognitive processes related to effective comprehension. Comprehending is thinking, and reading is thinking. So it makes sense that we teach thinking processes as part of reading instruction. And let's not forget vocabulary. Activities to develop word knowledge are part of a balanced literacy program. Students learn between 4,000 to 5,000 words every year, depending on what research study we look at. Do you think they learn those words through vocabulary worksheets? Absolutely not. Vocabulary worksheets are very ineffective in developing word knowledge, or vocabulary writing definitions is even more ineffective. Well, what is effective, you say? I'm glad you asked. What is effective is wide reading and conversations where teachers and others put words into the discussion. And we will talk about vocabulary in more depth, but vocabulary instruction should occur within a meaningful context to the greatest extent possible, meaning that you limit those instances where students see words in isolation. A list of words out of context, like dibbles, which I think is not effective vocabulary learning. They're just pretending to measure students' ability to create meaning. So when in your life have you had to read a word in isolation? Even on a sign or a milk carton, there is a meaningful context. And so we use syntax and grammar as well as phonics to identify and recognize words. And all these strategies and a balanced approach to literacy instruction should amplify best practice and developmentally appropriate practice. This is just an overview of what we are going to be looking at throughout this course so that you, as the amazing educator that you will be, can provide that balanced literacy program. See you online.